So, good morning, everybody. This is Marie Fratoni, CEO of Get Clients Everywhere at getclientseverywhere.com. And I want to welcome everybody to this issue of Share Your Shine interviews with the amazing Laura West. And Laura is the CEO of the Center for Joyful Business. And Laura is a wonderful friend. I've been her client. She's a member of WPDN. She's an amazing business coach. And I'm super excited to kind of get into this with her and introduce you to Laura West. So, good morning.
Good morning. I'm so glad to be here with my dear friend.
I know it's fun. It's funny. I was telling everybody, or I was telling Laura, that when I print off people's forms, sometimes they come in different shapes, and that's my printer. But I said, don't worry because I know who you are, and I love who you are, and I love your work, and like we can just riff. And I've circled kinds of things on my pages, so we make sure that you really get an experience of who Laura is. You are a business coach, a marketing expert. You've got yourself really in the trenches of marketing for many, many years. How did the joyful business come about for you?
Mm. Well, it's really a movement, right? It was born from my own story, So when I've been in business since 2001, and before that I was in corporate VP of marketing in the shopping center industry, and we went through big turmoil during the 90s, and very, very stressful. And I got really burned out, went through all these mergers, acquisitions year after year. And I was pretty burned out. And so then I hired a coach, fell in love with coaching, decided that was actually my true gift because I always nurtured all the marketing managers and all these malls to be the best leader they could be. And as I was setting up my business, there was this passion that had been born, from my own wounding, I guess you would call it, my own hardship of feeling burned out. And I knew that joy had to matter, like it had to make a difference, that you liked what you did, right? That when you showed up at work, you enjoyed the people you were with and things like that. Um, and then, so when I started my business, somebody forwarded an article to me by Barbara Fredrickson, and she was one of the leading pioneers in positive psychology. And she had done studies around joy at work, right? Being happy at work. And it just totally validated what I intuitively knew was, when we feel good at work, I always say when we feel good, we do good, right? So when you feel good, you're more likely to write the newsletter, right? You're more likely to show up and do a Share Your Shine interview, right? You're more likely to get the downloads, right? You're more likely to put yourself out there because it's vulnerable, right? It takes courage. And when you use joy as both a North Star, where you're following your joy, but also using joy as a productivity tool to help amplify your energy, that becomes a joyful, those are the stirrings, I guess the ingredients to start having and creating a joyful business. So that's where it came from, the origins.
I love that. I think we all have that origin story of what makes a difference. And I mean, I'm with you. I know years ago when I kind of worked with my first coach and had looked at my core values, joy was one of them. I still have the original notes from that meeting, and it's just really fun. So no wonder that we connect. And for me,
Of
joy
course.
is
Yeah, we
definitely,
share that.
and it's a big attraction factor, and I think so many people really suffer in their business because they don't quite know where to go or how to do it or all these different things there. I'm happy to tell everybody that I'm part of Laura's Soul Tribe. And I wear that badge proudly. But you talk a lot and you nurture a lot of your clients and help them get in touch with their soul tribe. Who do you
Mhm.
say the soul tribe is, and how would it make a difference for our listeners and viewers if they knew about that?
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's a little bit different than just talking about your ideal client, which absolutely you want to have. I call it the best client ever profile. So you want to know that for sure. But there's something bigger, right? Which is what I call a soul tribe. And a soul tribe is your current clients. It's also past clients and potential clients. Also in your soul tribe are your colleagues, are people who are your what I call your raving fans, right? You just love what you do. Maybe they'll be a client, maybe they won't, but they just follow you, they like you, they comment, things like that. I have like family members who are like that, right? Or people who are not quite sure why they're following me, but they just love what I'm up to. And the idea is that your primary marketing strategy is relationship marketing, right? You're so good at that. It comes so natural to you, right? It's like, it's all about relationships. And so when you really start looking at those relationships, it's not just about, I got to get a client, get a client, get a client. It's about who is in my soul tribe where I can nourish those relationships. And so it might be nurturing that past client relationship. Lots of times we forget about them, right? And those people are going to be, they're already our raving fans, right? They already know, like, and trust us. Lots of times they'll come back for more, right? Nurturing our current clients, because you know what? They're the ones that are going to keep coming back, right? They'll give us the referrals, things like that. Nurturing your colleagues, the people who are your raving fans, those are people who are going to give you the referrals. They're going to interview you. They're going to say, hey, Laura, you need this opportunity. I know you and I do that. We kind of share back and forth, right? We're each raving fans for each other. Um, and so it's when you step back a little bit and look at your whole soul tribe, and then your soul tribe has all these, values like you were just talking about, right? Common values, a common vision. In my case, it's like we all want to have a business that we're doing meaningful work, right? We want to have that joy factor. We want to have that. We want to, lots of times we're creative, sensitive, empathic. We need to manage our energy. Those are some of the common things of having a joyful business. And then we want, like, the really, for a joyful business, we want time and financial freedom, right? So we want to do work we love, and we want to have that sense of freedom with, that the making the money that we make that allows. And of course, we get into our businesses because we want to have that flexibility with our time. Those are all components of a joyful business.
I love that. I think, I hope our listeners are taking good notes with what you've said because,
There was a lot in there.
well, there is a lot in there, but here's the thing. The bottom line is why build a business that makes a difference for everybody else, but we're left behind not having a difference made for us because we're so focused on doing the difference.
Right, right.
It's really
It's like we
important to
need
have
both
that.
parts, right? And so often people are like serve, serve, serve. But what I find is a lot of, especially really heart-centered, caring entrepreneurs, like most of us work with, we can sacrifice and give so much that we're not, completing the infinity circle of the give and receive cycle. And so we're not receiving the money that we truly need and desire in our business so that we can continue to invest in our business, continue to grow our business, reach more people. We can give to our families, our communities. We can take care of ourselves so that we can keep showing up, doing our work. Incredibly important.
It's
Yeah.
very, very important. One of the things that I love about your programs and just being with you, you've done so well in terms of marketing and marketing words that you've kind of like created, like you have a language for your
I have
joyful
several
business.
I have several clients who are like, will you give me the joyful business glossary? Like, I just want the glossary, right?
That that would actually be a fun thing to do,
It
actually.
would be fun.
But I know that you talk a lot about joy flow and for us to notice joy flow. And then you talk
Mhm.
about joy shifting. Tell us a little bit about joy flow and I can't even say it, joy shifting. Say that 5 times fast.
Joy,
And
joy,
then
joy.
there you go. And how that makes a difference for us if we were to kind of like tune into that and be present
Mm.
to those
Mhm.
things.
Well, it's, first of all, joy flow is, it's my version of gratitude, but it's a little more focused, right? And it's pausing is such a big thing, right? Stopping and becoming aware. Where is the joy flowing? Because what I found over the 23 plus years is that, we're ambitious, right? We've got these big goals, big dreams. We always have lots of ideas. So our to-do list is gigantic. And so we keep comparing ourselves. At the end of the week, we look at our to-do list. And it's like, yeah, I did those things, but I still have all these other things to do, right? And it can feel really self-defeating, right? It can really get you down when it's like, oh, I haven't done these things. Um, and so pausing to say, what did you do? Where is the joy flowing? This week I did a Share Your Shine interview with Marie Fratoni. This week I did this. This week I did a restream, a live yesterday, and giving yourself credit, right? Acknowledging the things that you do, acknowledging the beautiful spring. Right now we're recording in spring, right? Everything is starting to blossom, which is crazy pollen, but it's also so gorgeous, so beautiful, right? And so acknowledging where the joy is, where it's flowing, raises your vibe, right? And when we raise our vibe, when we feel good, we're more likely to do good. So it's a cycle, right? The more we feel good, it's like the more downloads we get, right? The more creativity comes, the more confidence and courage that we can tap into so that we can keep showing up to what's important on our to-do list. So that's the joy shift. I mean, the joy flow. Yeah, joy flow sightings. The other piece you asked about is the joy shift, right? It's the shift, right? And so this is using joy as it's like a barometer, right? And so what often happens, I know this happened to me, yesterday on a Monday. It's like I can get out of whack on a Monday, have this great, break over the weekend, and you're filled up, and then Monday comes and it's like, now what am I doing and why am I here? And I just did a live about it yesterday, and I got several emails, and people were like, oh my God, I needed to hear this message. It's, where you you feel disconnected from your business, right? And you might start feeling overwhelmed by all the things to do, or you feel like you're not, you start doubting, does this really matter? Does it make a difference? All the things, right? All the thoughts, the stories, the disempowering stories start running, and one starts opening up to a whole bunch of other ones, right? I know we all know this. We can relate to this one, you tap on one and it's like, 50 million stories. I can't do this. I'll never make the money, blah, blah, blah. It just starts escalating like an avalanche. And that starts pulling you into what I call the doubt vortex, right? The doubt vortex. And it's really creative and sneaky, and it's pretty powerful, right? And so the shift, the joy shift, is noticing when you're getting caught by that doubt vortex, right? So that's the first step, is noticing, here's what's going on, right? There's something happening, creating that awareness, right? And really taking responsibility to say, you know what? I want my vision so much, right? That I'm willing to take responsibility. I'm willing to say, I want to do this different. So step two is acknowledging, like, what is the impact of getting caught in the doubt vortex? Saying, oh my gosh, you know what? This is really constricting my energy, right? I can feel my heart closing up. I feel a pit in my stomach. It's really hard to, here's the thoughts going through my head that I'm supposed to be sitting down and just writing stuff. And, but I'm not feeling it. So that first part is awareness. The second part is to acknowledge the impact and to say that you want to do it differently, right? And then that third step is to talk compassionately. Most of us want to go to beating ourselves up. Like, if we beat ourselves up enough, right, that somehow we're going to sit down and write our newsletter, right, or create the video. And that's, first of all, that usually doesn't work. And second of all, if we do it from that place, it's probably not our best work. It's probably not our greatest work, right? So talk compassionately to yourself, and talk yourself into doing, the fourth step is doing something that brings you joy. Listening to a little podcast. For me, I will get in the car in the early morning and take a little drive down to the beach just to get a glimpse of that water, whatever it might look like that day, sunny, cloudy, but just that water in the ocean just really grounds me and inspires me. Doing something that will shift your energy. And then you get into the joy, right? You get your body into those good vibes, right? And then step 5 is then doing something different in your business, right? So we've got the good vibes. Now it's much easier to write our newsletter, to do the live video, to start doing the podcast, that type of thing. So that's the joy shift, broken down into these little teeny micro actions, where we notice the impact and then start choosing to follow our joy and use joy as a productivity tool.
I love that. Joy as a productivity tool. I mean, I think that's a great way to really put that in and to make sure that we that we blend that in and that we build that in for all of that. One of the things that Laura might not know this, but I always describe her as somebody who is like this magnetic marketing messaging manifester. I mean, she just comes up with these great terms or whatever. And I just want everybody to know this is my little homage to Laura, because we're here on a Share Your Shine interview. And Share Your Shine interviews were actually created and came as an outpouring of a retreat that I did with Laura, her retreat by the sea, several years ago. And so we've been doing this probably now for, I don't know, like 5, 6, 7 years.
Gosh, yeah,
And
yeah.
working with that, but it just really came out of the space that she provided that allowed for something to do. Because, I think most people know that what I like to do is really help people get visible. And this is a way to take that visibility area and point the light on my guests or my colleagues or my clients or things like that. So you're
Yeah.
just so great at messaging.
Oh, yeah. Well, part of it comes from, let's remember that retreat, right? It's like when we follow our joy, part of that first step of following your joy in your business is going into your beautiful brilliance. So when we looked at your beautiful brilliance, it's like you just absolutely love to talk to people, right? You are just,
I
it
do.
is just the air that you breathe, right? Anytime, like for the most part, right? It's like it's something comes so natural to you, right? And then you just love to be of service. You love to help people and you see people's brilliance as well. And so when I remember we were talking about that. I was like, well, what do we do to bring all that together? And it was like, oh my gosh, let me interview people and, share what makes them brilliant, their shine. And, we just created this perfect thing that is the perfect marketing strategy for you, but it's also this great nurturing strategy to nurture relationships and help get your favorite people, all your people out to other people. So to me, that's like the using your joy and your beautiful brilliance to create the perfect authentic marketing strategy.
Yeah, it's really great. Thanks for those good comments. Um, so going back to the issue, this is again one of your terms, your beautiful brilliance. That's something that you work with your clients and really help them to identify all of that. Tell our listeners and our
Mhm.
viewers, what do you mean by beautiful brilliance? I think you gave a little tip to that just in that
Right.
reference. But what is it and why is it so important for us to really know what our beautiful brilliance is as we lead our business?
Yeah. Traditional marketing tells us to find who are the clients we want to serve and then find what their problems, how you can help them, right? Which is, yes, we absolutely want to provide those solutions. But to me, the first step is you've got to go inside and look at your own beautiful brilliance, right? Who are you? And I'm going like this because it's like a bunch of ingredients, right? Where we're going to make this beautiful recipe. And it includes like getting clear about your purpose. What is your purpose, your soul's divine purpose? Um, Looking at your expertise and really owning it. Like some people are like, oh yeah, I have an expertise in this. But when you really break it down and look at what you're really good at, either learned strengths or natural strengths, incredibly important. One of the things that I learned probably like 10 years in when I was doing this for myself that I hadn't realized was that in corporate, when I went back to look at, like bringing kind of like excavating my beautiful brilliance over my lifetime, my career lifetime, I was really good at creating corporate programs. They actually create a special position for me to create programs that we could roll out to 50 shopping centers around the country because I was really good at helping them, the people in the field do what they needed to do to be successful. Right. It was like my early coaching, insights into, being really clear about what people need to be successful. And so now it's like I'm good at creating programs, right? I'm good at creating certifications, like those types of things. And so going back and kind of excavating your lifetime of whether it was in a career, whether as a mom, whether it's in a nonprofit, whatever they were, not just in your current career, but to bring all of those pieces forward. I know you and I have had lots of conversations about um, the different things that you've done. You've done so many things in your lifetime careers that's really fascinating, right? And they all have this thread. And so to being able to bring um, your strengths, the gifts of your challenges that you've gone through, right? Your purpose. What brings you joy, right? When it brings you joy to talk to people, then the interview is perfect for that, right? It brings me joy to bring my creativity out, right? To write. So of course I'm working on a book. So that's where we start is really looking at your beautiful brilliance. And we go deeper than you might normally do. People are like, yeah, I want to use my strengths, but it's so much deeper than that, right?
Yeah.
It's really claiming all of you. And then how can you use that to create your authentic marketing style, your message, and how can you use that beautiful brilliance to provide solutions for your clients?
It's really great because I think, what comes up for me as you say that is I think many times we don't go deep enough inside ourselves to really take the moment to really acknowledge. You said it best as I was talking about pulling that thread all the way through and being able to use all of you, not just some of you or whatever, because I think that's the part of authenticity that makes people want to be with us. I think there's a lot of people out there, this is just my opinion, but some coaches make a client into somebody who they're not. And
Right.
then they wonder
Yes.
why it doesn't work. And they're not going into their beautiful brilliance. They're thinking of marketing, sales, money as the outcome, but they're leaving the real person behind. And that
Yes.
makes me really, really sad. But you bring it all the way through and have us claim that and own it and just be proud of what we've done in our lives.
Right. And that's to me, that is the magnetic factor, right?
Right.
Because I mean, I've worked with plenty of coaches and I know I get lots of clients who come to me and it's almost like they're going through PTSD, having worked with other business coaches, who do the methods that you're talking about, right? Where they kind of contort themselves, sort of like wearing somebody else's clothes,
Right.
like they're supposed to wear somebody else's clothes, do their method, their blueprint, when it actually doesn't fit their soul and their heart.
Right.
And so I'm really passionate about, okay, let's find that place in you, your beautiful brilliance, your own unique way of dressing, right? Your own style, fashion style. And then to show up in the world like, all right, who can I help to help, create solutions, to bring my medicine, to create change and do great work in the world.
Yeah. It's really great. I think our listeners and our viewers here on this episode of Share Your Shine are just like, wow, this is really good. I could stay and I could just like shoot the breeze
Right.
with Laura for a long time, but we want to bring this to a close here just because everybody's got stuff to do, right? But you always have really great messages to share, and you're just really awesome with people and your clients. And I know that you're a very highly respected coach out there and a professional in the world. I know that you have a free gift that you'd like to share with our audience, and also tell us what is the best way for people to reach you at Joyful Business.
Sure, sure. Thank you for asking. This is one of the things is when you are working with your soul tribe is that you always want to have some sort of nurture event, something cool, creative that you can invite people to that is ongoing all the time. Whether it's your podcast, maybe your newsletter, if it's really based on your authentic marketing strategy. For me, I have a monthly free workshop. They're all called Simplify and Amplify. How to simplify your business, your message, and then how to amplify your energy, your magnetism, right? Amplify your joy, amplify your creativity, your confidence, your success. And so every month we have a different theme of a different marketing strategy. Plus, I also bring in what I call the wisdom energetics, which are the ways that I help heal and shift your energy, shift your resistance so you can get back into that joy flow. So you can go check that out at joyfulbusiness.com/simplify, amplify workshop.
That's
And you can join. It's free. Once you're on the list, we will send you a reminder each month, let you know what the theme is each month. This is the third Wednesday of the month. I know lots of times Marie comes. We have such a great community there. You get some really great information. And it goes past that. And then you can check out my website at joyfulbusiness.com. That's probably the best way to connect to me, or on Facebook or LinkedIn.
that's great. I also just want to like put in the space there that you also have a podcast that you're doing. You want to say anything about that?
Sure. You can go to any of your favorite podcast listening places, Spotify, or I was going to say Amplify, Spotify or Apple. And you can search for Joyful Business with Laura West, and you can hear the podcast, or you can go to YouTube. You can listen to Joyful Business TV. And so there's lots of ways that you can get inspired every day. You don't have to stay stuck in that, doubt vortex. So I have lots of resources for you to help start shifting out of that and then to go beyond.
That's really great. Laura, thank you for your time. Thank you for your brilliance. And always a pleasure to be with you. And folks, go to joyfulbusiness.com, read about Laura West, get connected to her. And just want to say thank you to everybody for listening into this episode of Share Your Shine. Again, this is Marie Fratoni with getclientseverywhere.com. Take care.
Thank you.